Welcome to Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinaitwe. It is great to be having you here again this week on Your Space, a show that allows you, the youth, to express yourselves and express your views about each and everything under the sun. And as always, here on Your Space, I'm never alone. I'm always with a great team here with me, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves. Yes, hello, Doctor.
Hello, I'm Patricia Chano Kiria, Deputy Inspector General of Government, and I'm extremely excited to be part of this show.
Hello, my name is Joel Sakwa. Thank you, Hannah, for having me.
Hi, everyone. My name is Monica. Delighted to be here today.
Yes. Maybe you could start with just a little bit of an icebreaker. How has your week been, Dr. Patricia?
My week has been splendid. I have been involved in so many things.
Okay.
I was in a place called Agago. I went to Gulu. I came down to Soroti. And now I'm here.
Yes.
So the week has been very good.
That's interesting. Monica, did you also travel apparently this week?
Yeah.
You did?
I did. I was in Lira for an event.
Okay.
Crazy, amazing.
All
I
right.
loved it.
Joel, how was your week?
Had a few courseworks here and there, a little stressing.
Life of a student. Well, today on our episode on Your Space, we're going to be talking about moral uprightness and character. And I think I'd like to first ask Joel. Joel, how were you ever naughty in your life as a child?
Very, very naughty. Very, very naughty. Disturbing a lot. I think I just became a little more composed as I joined school.
Okay.
But for the most part of my life, I was a very stubborn kid.
Okay. Monica, did you have a nickname when you're growing up? Were you ever naughty?
I still have nicknames.
You still have nicknames?
Yeah, I do. I have
Can we
like
hear the
1,000.
nicknames?
Oh, wow. You would ask for interpretations and it would become problematic. But I do have. Still have.
Okay. Dr. Patricia, you seem a very composed lady. Why did you ever get naughty when you were young? Were you ever a naughty person when you were young?
Well, when I was young, my character was a bit unpredictable, but I got involved in doing some naughty things.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting to know. Well, let us first look at the status quo in our country, Uganda, today. Do you think that 90% of our youth are upright in character? Joel?
90% would be like shooting the bar too high. We are not all saints, and of course we are all trying to find that place where we can get there. So you cannot just shoot 90%. I would say like lower it a little bit, 40.
40%?
Yeah, 40 would be liberal.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you choose 40%? Is it based off your surroundings at campus?
I think my personal experience, it's very easy to judge somebody basing on what you see them do, but when it comes to yourself, when you judge according to what the experience that you have yourself, it is much easier to understand what other people are going through.
Zero.
So according to my experience, I believe 90% would be too high.
Too high.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to know from Monica. Monica, do you think we as the youth in Uganda are morally upright?
Well, what I can say is we are trying. We're trying. Yeah, we are definitely trying because we've seen people, we've seen experiences where people are really trying so hard to be better, because we have this thing of I must be better than I was the previous day. I must be better than where I'm coming from. You know, there is that mentality of forget where you come from. So I feel like people are trying so hard to be better than where they came from. So are we righteous? Are we good? Are we doing all these things? I would say we are trying. We are work in progress, and we're trying.
Dr. Patricia, I'd like you to explain to us what could be your understanding of moral uprightness and character, good character.
Moral uprightness and good character, it's about someone upholding values and principles of truthfulness, of trustworthiness, and morals that his convictions convict him to do, even if someone is not watching. For instance, if someone is in his office, he should be down to earth and real to himself at all times. If someone is at home, that person should have those values, those integrity, owning up, taking up responsibility if he has made mistakes, and coming up to say sorry for those mistakes or any shortfalls or offenses. So moral uprightness,
Uprightness.
moral uprightness has got to do with somebody's personal conviction to do things the right way and uphold the values of integrity. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I think I'd like to first find out from Joel and Monica, because I know you guys have direct access to a big percentage of the youth at university. What are some of the things you think cause us to act in a rowdy kind of manner? You know, why do we act like this?
Okay, personally, I think the mind that what can they do, like, okay, trying to dare. Yeah, the reason as to why we act a certain way is, one, in most cases we haven't really appreciated the value of maybe being tamed and working, you know, in that end. But then again, as a sharing with a friend sometime, society has really learned how to make leeway for these, what we would term as bad manners, to come to play, and there is no serious repercussion towards it.
That's
so
true.
Yeah, we've done this, we've done that, but even them, they did it, and who did what? Nothing, right?
I think you're very right. One of the ways that we have let society have leeway to us acting the way we act is through social media and through memes. There's a very funny meme I saw recently that I laughed my head off. This young man was seated on his bed drinking a very huge glass of water, and the label on the glass of water was bad manners. So he was drinking bad manners, and everyone daily dose, my daily dose of, and people are laughing about it, and they think it's actually okay. Yeah. So Joel, why do you think we act the way we act?
I think there's this like kind of mentality like nobody's righteous. Nobody has really been to that point where they have got it in life. So we tend to believe that since nobody has made it, what makes you think that you are going to make it? Okay, so I think that kind of defeatist attitude is what is really letting us down. Yeah. Is
that mediocrity?
Not necessarily mediocrity, but something like even if you try, you're going to fail, something like that.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense, because we usually have this thing of, okay, so this is how we operate, this is the status quo, no one is that good, no one is that perfect.
Yes.
So when you try to live outside yourself and try to be a person of integrity, a person who is a little righteous, like you're work in progress and you're trying to get there, people usually come at you and they're like, man, stop acting, stop playing, like what's your catch? What are you chasing?
What are you chasing?
They don't think you can actually want to be that kind of person freely, like without having a catch.
Dr. Patricia, do you think that could be the only reason why we as a youth end up acting in a, in a ruckus kind of way? Do you think it's only because society gives us that negative attachment towards acting proper and acting upright?
I think to some extent, yes, but I think it goes back to the foundation. How was someone brought up? How was he raised as a child? Was he raised with these values? Because if you're raised with these values, someone will not disorganize you by saying you're merely acting. If you're raised with these values, you get to practice them and you get to inculcate them in the lives of others, even when you interact with them at schools or in colleges. In government today, we are having a challenge with inculcating these ethical principles and values, especially in public service, because of those background issues. Because if we work on them right from the time someone is young and growing, then the person can be able to implement what he has learned. There is this common saying, luzalo, ziba luzalo, he's born with it. So if you're born with discipline, then you're able to implement that into other people. And government, like I said, is struggling with realizing some of these principles, with maintaining ethics in public service. For instance, it is hard to find people of integrity. Everybody is doing things their own style. It is just because of that background issue. But if we begin to preach like we have started talking about this, then we are going to have a generation who have had a mindset change, and they will act and work differently. And you're not going to be embarrassed for doing a good thing,
Yeah.
because you have been taught and brought up in that way to be exemplary, to demonstrate these good qualities and good manners and attributes out there. And that calls for truthfulness, that calls for walking the talk, that calls for preaching what we practice ourselves, because integrity begins with me. Someone once said that a person with integrity is that person who can use a fork and a knife in his house behind closed doors, even when nobody is looking. It applies to even when we're at work, even when we're at college. You don't have to act differently, but it calls for distinctiveness, distinctiveness in quality of character and the standards you portray out there. Yes.
I know it goes back to foundation, and it's interesting because here on Your Space we have talked a lot about foundation, but maybe I think this should be the right time for us to actually break down what we mean by foundation. Yeah, Monica, what do you think we mean by foundation? I know you are a youth, and I know you understand best what your kind of foundation means.
Yes. When it comes to foundation, I think what could help us break it down is that foundation is basically what was instilled in you at your learning stages. You know, scientists say that the time frame parents have to frame the mentality of a child, and also to frame the kind of individual that person is going to be, including values, how would they think and all that stuff. It's usually between around 3 years to 7. If you lose that time frame, it's usually very hard to meet them later on and try to change. And in most cases, parents, or I'll now say us with our parents, usually are in a space.
Your parent?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, with our parents are usually at a place where we condone our 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and we think they're too young to appreciate certain things, they're too young to understand certain things, right? But then, so we are waiting for them at their teenage, when it's too late to start instilling these things that were supposed to be the foundation upon which they would run their teenage years, upon which they would run their early 20s, and upon which they would build their marriages and their lives. You get? So foundation is what are those values and what are those things you are instilling in a child between the age of 3 to 7 years old. Because once you lose that time frame, you may need to pray longer as a mother, you need to pray longer as a father, and watch a lot more things so that you can inspire this child into becoming what you think they should become, because you lost this molding season.
Okay, let's just take a break. When we get back, we'll be diving more into how we can create this foundation for us, the youth that are already grown up, and even for those who are still younger than us.
I'm Mercy Grace Chomhendo, Year 2 student pursuing journalism and communication here at Makerere. What I think is lacking amongst the youth in terms of sound character and moral uprightness is two main things. First of all, our mindsets as youths are wanting, because we don't think about things that are good. We don't think about things that would benefit our neighbors and friends. That is what is lacking amongst us as the youth. Then the other thing is that most of us are following too much of the social trends, and that is making us lack in our moral uprightness, because we are going to see Snoop Dogg smoking weed in the TV, and then I'm going to want to do the same thing, or Beyonce dressing half, and I want to do the same thing. That is making us lose our morals as young people. Then the other thing, our values. Most of us grow up without values that define us. We come from backgrounds where we are raised by maybe housemaids and TVs, so we don't have moral values that we stand by. We don't have the say in mind that if Mercy is sick, I am supposed to give her kind of like emotional and moral support, or I'm not supposed to gossip about this one and the other one. That's what is lacking. We don't have values as the youth.
Character traits include godliness, integrity, patience, love, trust, and honesty. These are some of the traits that one to have a very good sound character must possess. Not even must possess, but they should be within a person. It doesn't mean about how someone dresses, how someone speaks, but the traits which are within a person. People live differently, we live different societies, we follow different religions, we follow different characters, but to have a very good sound character, these traits one must adhere to them. We have to love one another. That's a very good trait one must have. If you're not honest in the society, people are not going to love you, people are not going to trust you because you're dishonest. And if you're godly, you have a godliness character, that means you're very good in the society. The religion we follow, and everything that is spiritual and religious, if you're godly, then that's a better way to go. And then about patience, everyone must be patient in one way or the other. We cannot, whatever we desire cannot come as fast as we wish it to come. Yeah, so patience really entails into the traits of having a good sound character. Then when you talk about trust and honesty, yeah, we must be honest in whatever we do. You know, like you have to be honest with each other. If we're talking about something and you can't keep someone's secret, then you're a very honest person, and that's all it tells into the good sound character of a person. Most of the times people judge people according to where they come from, what language they speak, what race they be, how they dress, how they look, but it's all not about the physical appearance of a person to judge a good sound character. What entails is that the traits you behold within you is what the good sound character can be. Thank you very much.
I'm Nasali Joeli Ashira, a journalism student at Makerere University, currently in year 2. Well, what I think about morality. First and foremost, morality, these are principles which guide us between what is right and what is wrong. So when I compare, like among us the youth, what I can say is that yes, we have good morals, or morality is not that bad. I can compare this in comparison with the way the university students dress. If you observe, if critically analyze how students dress in Makerere University, you can critically analyze that they dress in a decent way compared to the past years. I could say maybe it's because of the way how the religious institutions have played their role, and how parents have come up to see that students change and how our lecturers talk to us. Yeah, so morality, maybe what I can say about, we should live, like when we say the good and bad, we usually look like how does someone dress, how their hair, but we should take the morality bit in how people think, because this generation, we are so exposed to a lot of content. So, and this content, it's this content that has influenced students to engage into various practices like homosexuality because of the things they watch on TikTok, on YouTube, the people that they follow. Yeah, so I think when we are to talk about morality, we should now leave the outside thing, or can I say the dictatorial meaning, the connotative meaning of the word morals, and we look at how the youth in this generation, how do they think? What do they think about this matter? For example, homosexuality. When we talk about homosexuality, what do the youth think about it? We should leave the dressing part of it, because we all know that something inside someone, that's the most valuable thing about a topic.
Welcome back to Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinaite. We are still here breaking down what exactly it means to have a foundation from our perspective as the youth. Now, Joel, I know you are a very well-behaved guy, yeah? I know you are very well-behaved. and you look pretty sharp today, yeah? Now, Monica is telling us that between the ages of 3 and 5, that is when your parents actually...
3 and 7?
Yeah, 3 and 7. You said
Yeah.
3 and 7? That's when like you are being fine-tuned to become the person you are today. Can you remember between those ages what your parents were telling you?
Oh my God, to be honest.
Let's put this to a test.
To be honest, I think that's the time I was whipped quite a lot.
Okay.
Yes, like, of course, sometimes your hand is long, you reach into the kitchen, you
hand
pick
is
what
long,
you're not
that's
supposed
fine.
you're not supposed to pick, things like that. Oh my God.
What happened?
Five, that's not well on.
But those are not babies. They are
Those
sharp
are
men
sharp
and women.
kids.
Yeah.
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 6, even
6.
at 6 they are sharp.
6 you're in P1.
Yes.
6 in
Meaning you
P1.
actually
Yeah, you
understand.
actually understand
And
what
they're always
you're doing.
asking
Do you know
the sharp
beauty?
questions.
Like the threshold is usually this. When your child can come back home and tell you, I susued today in my dress. That's already something. They know they're not supposed to be
doing
there.
it.
Yeah, that's the stage where you start. You greet neighbors, you greet visitors, you kneel down, you do these things. So
Okay. So now that should be the perfect way for us to build this foundation. I want to know, now that we are already grown, Doctor, what do you think we should be really focusing on to ensure that our character is upright? What do you think we should be focusing on, me and Monica and Sakwa?
For me, I think the ethical standards should permeate all the aspects of somebody's life. All the aspects of somebody's life as you are growing up, so that even when you get to service, like you have said, you're grown up, then it should permeate all the sectors of that ministry or department or agency where you're working. Meaning that in procurement, the ethical standards should be upheld. In administration, ethical standards should be upheld. People should be, transparent. People should walk the truth, talk. They should walk the talk, and they should be guided by these standards. That is why out there we have the Public Service Code of Conduct to offer guidance to the civil servants out there to know how to behave with good conduct, to maintain integrity while in service, how to promote that truthfulness and trustworthiness and uprightness while in service. And I think if it comes from foundational issues, as Monica and Joel have explained, then it should grow and be able to permeate in all sectors, in ministries, departments, and agencies. Then for us who are the anti-corruption crusaders, we would actually want to thin our institutions and close some offices, because we will have dealt with the problem from its roots and will not be receiving cases of corruption in our office in big numbers, because those issues have already been dealt with from foundation, and it is now permeating in all sectors, and people know that I should be accountable. When I am given money for an activity, accountability is a must, and it has to maintain strict standards. Yes, so we wouldn't be having these challenges today. So it goes back to foundation, like it has been alluded to.
That's true. I want us to also understand clearly how important moral uprightness is. Let's go into the job market. Many of us are looking for jobs as the youth in these different offices, and we are finding it difficult to fit into that space because we have not been trained, to act in a certain kind of way, to talk a certain kind of way. You're saying that, like it's really personal, Monica.
Yes.
What was your experience, the very first, because I know you're working, right? You're doing a bit of work on the side. So what has been your experience
I wouldn't
in fitting in?
Let me not deal with the work bit. I'll go at internship placements. Guys, it's a hassle getting internship placements out there. You know how you think it's just about, you're going to this office and then you're like, so and so sent me, and then it will be done. Those things no longer work at a certain stage, right? Because you get into that space, now what? So you realize that in workspace, now what I appreciate from law school, Makerere University, what they do is they usually give us a training session, like an orientation where they teach you these basics of be like this, be truthful, don't get involved in things that don't concern you, do all these things, right? But then you realize when you reach there, it is hard to walk that talk, like she has said. It is very difficult. Having those basic good manners, walking in integrity, now the legal field, someone brings in a file, they want it worked on, and all the senior counsel are like very busy, you know exactly what to do, and then they're willing to give you money at the side to have this process speed up. And then you're sitting there and you're asking God, is this you trying to lift me? Or is this just so you do not know how to react? But then you realize if you had this early, you understand, like, no, this is how we work, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's interesting. Have you done internship, Joel?
Not yet. I've tried being around court as a volunteer.
Okay.
And I can tell you there are challenges we young people face when we're in such spaces.
Like what?
You see, a client comes to you, like she has said, and of course the judge is busy handling a few files, and they are assured that you are responsible for handling the particular field. So they are ready to chip in some money and say, okay, take for me this file to the judge. I need this bail application to be handled in such and such a way.
Okay.
And you are in this tricky situation. So if you're not in, if you do not have this strong strands like to hold you.
To hold you.
Yeah, like you can be swept off. Because of course you see, I'm helping somebody.
I know.
No one is watching.
No one is watching you.
No one is going to
Nobody's,
come.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think such things, if they are not handled like earlier on at the foundation level, they can be very, very, very tricky.
Very, very tricky.
So that is very good because those values we are talking about actually underpin someone's personal behavior. That's why when Joel goes to court, for him, he cannot be quick to give a bribe for the file to be taken. Yes, he knows that, no, me, I'm a child of God. I have values and principles I believe in. He can't compromise those standards.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, it's quite interesting to hear everybody's personal stories in relation to those tricky situations of moral uprightness. But we're going to be taking a break, and this conversation is going to be a continuation in our very next episode. Do not forget to tune into Your Space every Sunday at 5 p.m. only on UBC TV. This has been Hannah Arinaitre, your host.